Biden says that a nuclear attack from North Korea would mean the end of its regime.
Here's a summary of the article.
President Biden on Tuesday said that any kind of nuclear attack from North Korea against South Korea or other U.S. allies would be met with an overwhelming response. Look, a nuclear attack by North Korea against the United States or its allies or partners is unacceptable and will result in the end of whatever regime to take such an action, Biden said during a press conference with Yoon. It's part of what the two leaders called the Washington Declaration, which establishes a consultative group to regularly discuss how to deter North Korea from using its nuclear weapons and plan responses to any actions, a group like what the U.S. had with European allies during the Cold War. South Korea has been requesting and the U.S. has been promising to give Seoul a bigger say in how to deter North Korea, including more joint planning, consultation and intelligence sharing. Our two leaders have decided to significantly strengthen extended deterrence of our two countries against North Korea's nuclear and missile threats so that we can achieve peace through the superiority of overwhelming forces, and not a false peace based on the goodwill of the other side, he said, through an interpreter. President Yoon suggested in January that South Korea might have to acquire its own nuclear weapons, but the U.S. opposes the idea, and Yoon quickly backpedaled from his assertion. North Korea this month tested a new solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile, the latest addition to its growing nuclear arsenal.
This post received a score of 30,000, with an upvote ratio of 92%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
The guy studied at elite Western schools as a child. What he can do is make sure that it's far too dangerous to invade, and that's done by having a nuclear weapon and making sure people know you're psychotic enough to use it if they come after you. He spent a significant portion of his life outside the country and was educated by top schools. He is not that delusional about fighting a war with NATO countries.
Greater than goes without saying, I'm right there with you. This is true of literally any player. Tell me exactly which regime in the world could carry out a nuclear attack on the US or her allies without fierce retaliation.
Any psychopathic aging tyrant who is backed into a corner and would rather take millions out with him than go peacefully to be executed or jailed when captured. Not saying it's too likely, but that is my one worry with nukes.
The crux of MAD is that it relies on all actors behaving rationally. As you've pointed out, that's not how the world works.
Well, in the years after MAD was established, it became evident that a new strategy would be in play, especially for a nation that didn't have the number of nukes of the US or USSR. Play the wild card. Make yourself not rationally predictable but have at least one nuke and everyone else is incentivized not to fuck with you. Also keep in mind that the US pretty much bombed every single building in North Korea until our own general said there were no targets left. So they have historical reason to be paranoid.
The US was just the most recent in a long list of foreign powers that have messed with Korea. They haven't forgotten the others either.
Kim better break out the WD-40 and get his sub started and loaded with Twinkies and Katy Perry CDs.
You know what's more destructive than a nuclear bomb? Words.
If liking Katy Perry and drinking margaritas is gay, then who wants to be straight?
Man, Kim's actor, obviously very well known but I forget his name, is just spectacular at comedic delivery.
Randall Park, he also played Jim in The Office.
Identity theft is not a joke. Millions of families suffer every year.
Of course it would. The shitstorm you'd face firing a nuke would be ridiculous. Pretty sure even China and Russia would block their calls.
They've long knew that. I've watched a documentary where a few high-ranking officials that defected had opened up about how there was a dinner in 2010 when Kim Jong-il was very weak, and told his son that if they were to ever launch any nukes, then NK would be ash sooner than it would take for them to reach Seoul from Pyongyang. The point was that having nukes was the only way they'd get the world to listen and provide aid and give a damn.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.